Your eyes do not deceive you. I have a bass. I'm looking for the most versatile, best value for money bass guitar on the market. Notice I didn't say cheapest. This is the Yamaha BB434 in icy blue. However, this is a special video because not only am I going to play it from the guitar player's point of view, but I took it to band practice and gave it to a real bass player, and you're going to get to hear it in a band mix. Bass players, beware. I'm a guitar player that enjoys playing bass and needs to play bass in studio recordings sometimes, so prepare to cringe a little bit at my technique, but none of that is down to the instrument that I'm playing. A few things to go through before I carry on. I've had this bass for a while, and it's not stock. As a bit of an experiment for sounds, we put some flatwound strings on it, which is what it's got now. It comes with roundwounds, so I'm going to put those back on in the video, and you can hear what it sounds like stock. Nothing else has changed, so I guess it is stock, it's just got different strings. Next to me is the Boss Katana Bass, which I'm taking a line out of into my audio interface, so that's why there's no mics or anything. That's also the same amp that I used at the rehearsal, so you get to hear it again later on. Before I put the roundwounds back on there, let's hear it with these flatwounds. And if you've never heard flatwounds on a bass before, they're absolutely glorious. It's a PJ bass, so we've got precision style pickups here and then a jazz bass pickup here. That's the volume for the precision, that's the volume for the jazz, and that's a master tone. It is a 4-string, of course. We have an older body. We've got a mahogany and maple neck with a rosewood fretboard. There's 21 medium frets, and it's a 34-inch scale length. The BB434 is available in a few finishes. This is the ice blue. And I think my favourite and weirdest feature about this is the way the neck is joined to the body. So you can see the 4 screws here, which you're probably expecting, but then here are a further 2, which are going in on about a 45-degree angle, I would say that is. And the way I see this is the 4 regular screws are doing the normal joint, but these 2 are pulling that neck deeper into the body and really connecting it, hopefully giving us more sustain. But there's something else weird about this bass. Just here. Those are the ferrules. So you can see them just here going through the body of the instrument, through the bridge, and then that's how they go over the saddles. I've never seen that before. Usually they go through that way, but this way there's less of a break angle. Frankly, I don't really know how much difference it makes compared to them going straight through the body like on a regular bass, but having them there just seems at least very cool, and I think it's better. Let me know what you think in the comments, please. I can't quite word my thoughts there. So on first glance, this might just look like a double cutaway PJ bass, but the more you look at it, the more you realize this has been designed, not copied. In fact, I've only just noticed that you can also put the strings through the bridge as well. They don't have to go through the body. So let's get the flatwounds off and put the original roundwounds on. These are the strings that the bass came with. One thing I noticed straight away is that with the roundwounds on, it's a lot louder and a lot brighter, which should be the case. So before I really get into this, because I want to, let's put the sound of this with the sound of the flatwounds back to back, so you can hear the difference of just the strings. That's how much of a difference flat wound strings make, and I do have a preference, which I'll let you know towards the end of the video. But let's have some more sounds from this with the stock strings on. I'll do both together, bridge, then neck. Tone is all the way open, but I'm gonna back it off a bit because I think it's a bit bright. On the neck pickup, it's bringing out something that I thought I was imagining, and I think I might still be, but it seems like the bass strings are louder on the bridge pickup. No, it's just my playing. Oh dear. Let's do the unthinkable and put the pick down and do that again with a different riff. Really like that. That sounds great. Okay, and neck. Although I'm not great at bass fingers, I much prefer playing with a pick. I think this sounds better with fingers, not necessarily my fingers. But now I understand why Armin wanted to put flat wounds on this. It's a very modern sound, a very hi-fi sound, and then putting those flat wounds on sort of makes it a bit more vintage. And now I can't actually decide which strings I do know which ones I prefer. Speaking of vintage, I'm going to put the Katana Bass on the vintage mode to get a bit of a growl going on. And I'll play the one riff that I play every time I pick up a bass. Okay, more revelations. This is why I enjoy playing bass, because it puts me out of my comfort zone. And it means I really listen and really focus on what I'm doing. Fingers, jazz pickup all the way. Pick, I think actually P-bass pickup. I think it needs that sort of distance from the bridge to mellow it out a little, but then you bring back the attack with the pick. So neck pickup on, bridge pickup off. Let's try that again with just the bridge pickup and fingers. That's my favorite setting. Fingers on the bridge, pick on the neck. I think that's a t-shirt. It should be a t-shirt. Wish I had a bass. Right, I'm going to let you escape from me playing this for another half an hour and summarize this video with a bit of the good, the bad, and the ugly, plus a little few more insights. So first, the good. Quite simply, it's a Yamaha. They may not be the sexiest brand in the world, but they make quality instruments and motorcycles and engines for motorboats. But back to the instruments. This is just a very well-built, machine-built instrument, meaning that it's very clean edges. Everything is not sharp, but everything's straight where it needs to be and rounded and curved where it needs to be as well. And it's more than just a Fender Precision Jazz Bass copy. It's its own thing. The body feels a little bit smaller, a little bit that way a bit more, and it's got the custom hardware, which makes a world of difference. I just think you're less likely to find things like that and this on a budget bass, which I think is what you're paying a little bit more for. And not just that, but the time that's been spent on this instrument putting it together and the attention to detail. I took it apart earlier when I changed the strings, and you're not going to believe what is under that pickguard. That's right, nothing. Because all the electronics are in the back, and I'll be honest, taking that pick guard off and finding nothing kind of surprised me. It's not the best wiring I've ever seen, but it's certainly good, and that cavity is shielded with conductive paint as well as the back of the cover, meaning that you've got a very noiseless instrument. Back to the hardware again, I like the knurled knobs there. They feel very Revstar, and the pots, you can kind of see them in there. They feel quality. And all in all, I was looking for a versatile, balanced bass, and this is such a thing. There's a plethora of sounds in this, and you change between fingers and picks and the different pickup. I haven't even really messed with the tone knob, but it is there just to roll it off or to vintage up those round wound strings. And I don't know tonally or structurally how much difference the maple and mahogany neck makes, but it certainly feels like it's money, if that makes sense. And the rosewood on the fretboard is absolutely gorgeous. And finally, it's 4 kilograms or thereabouts, which I think is pretty light for a bass. I've got guitars that are heavier than that. So if you need something in the studio or you need something for the stage that isn't too massive, it feels smaller than it actually is. Or maybe that's just me. Okay, on to the bad, because it's not perfect. Out of the box, I remember the setup wasn't fantastic. It was playable, but it needed some tweaking. And then we put the flat wounds on there, so that sort of messed up that test. But I do know that it didn't seem amazing out of the box. When it is set up, the saddle screws are a little bit too high, and you could catch a hand on there if that's how you want your strings. But I know that I like my bass strings lower than most actual bass players. And the second thing is that there's no gig bag, and that doesn't apply to me. I don't want a gig bag for a studio bass, but if you're going to take this out, you're going to then have to invest more money keeping this safe. And that leads me to a bad/ugly point, and that is this tuner got loose when I took it to band practice. It's absolutely fine now, but there was a point when you could wiggle this around, and it was actually vibrating and buzzing during the recording, and we had to figure out what was buzzing, and it turned out to be this. But then I just squeezed it together with my fingers and it stopped. And then if I took some pliers and protected it and then squeezed it properly, the problem would be fixed. As for the flat wound strings versus round wounds, the round wounds that it comes with sound good and they're probably more universal. But I think this bass really opens up as a more quality instrument when you put flat wounds on it, and then it sounds kind of special. Ultimately, because the range of frequencies that a bass has to cover, I think we should be spending more on our bass guitars than we are currently. So if you're buying sort of 300-note, 400-note basses, take a look at the ones that are maybe double that or just above, about 500, 600, and you'd be surprised at the difference you can get. And if you're looking for something that is PJ, which I think is the most versatile setup you can get on a bass, and you don't need the Fender name on your headstock, or you want something just a little bit quirky, then take a look at the Yamaha BB434. I can't believe we've made it to almost the end of the video, and I haven't even mentioned that BB434 sounds like a Star Wars droid, so I won't mention it. But what I will mention is that there are links to this in the video description and first comment if you want to have pricing in your region. There's also a subscribe button just there, and a video there that YouTube thinks you should watch next. But whatever you do, take care and, yeah, go and play some bass. It's fun. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!